The achievements of one man can be great, but along every hero's journey, he is met with trials that require the assistance of others. Brothers helping brothers is a fundamental part of the fraternity experience. When citation recipient Jim Clayton, Tennessee 56, fell upon hard times with his nationally acclaimed business, Clayton Homes, fellow citation recipient and SigEp brother, Wally Dowd, Wisconsin 48, came quickly to his aid. Dowd joined Clayton's board of directors, helping him navigate the difficult juncture and put Clayton Homes back on its successful path. In appreciation of Dowd's assistance and his demonstration of virtue, diligence, and most importantly, brotherly love, Clayton established and endowed the Clayton-Doud Scholarship. Today, this scholarship recognizes brothers who come to another's aid in times of trouble, helping overcome the obstacles that can befall all of us in the pursuit of excellence. The scholarship awards $10,000 to those brothers who exemplify the relationship shared by brothers Clayton and Dowd. It celebrates the bond of brothers forged in the pursuit of greatness, of arete, despite all odds.
Max Fowler and Zach Knight first met during a field training exercise at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Both men had enrolled in their school's Army ROTC program, and they developed a special bond as they learned to serve and protect their country. After the first semester, both men returned home for Christmas break, exhausted but proud of what they'd accomplished. Their classes and ROTC experience had given them new knowledge and experiences, but still something was missing. They wanted to learn more about themselves. They wanted to apply newly developed leadership skills, and they wanted to find a fellowship of men that shared their values and would help them accomplish even more. They considered the option of joining a fraternity, but their search provoked hesitation. They saw most fraternities were hazing new members and providing environments that could jeopardize all they had worked for in their first semester. But then they met SigEp. They were told SigEp was different. Older members said the pledging experience was free of hazing and focused on building them into better men. With great excitement, Fowler and Knight accepted invitations to join the South Carolina Alpha chapter at the University of South Carolina. It wasn't long before they discovered the obstacle they would have to overcome, and excitement turned to frustration. Personal servitude, late-night calisthenics, and regular lineups dominated their time. Their classwork and ROTC performance began to suffer. As days turned into weeks, the hazing only got worse. The men were intended to call them brother were destroying the confidence and self-esteem of their pledge class for their own emotional gain. Fowler and Knight resented the men who lied to them, telling them this chapter was different. Initiation didn't improve their outlook. Newly initiated and now watching another pledge class experience the same turmoil, they knew they couldn't continue this way. They were at a crossroads, considering whether to cut their losses and quit, or double down and work together to build a better experience for their brothers. Before they could decide, they learned it might be too late. Knight sent Fowler a message one evening that read, quote, "The chapter's closed. We're getting kicked off campus. It's all over," end of quote. In an effort to save the chapter, alumni and fraternity staff conducted a membership review. They attempted to identify those who truly understood SigEp's values and principles, who wanted to be a part of a real SigEp experience. A 130-man chapter was suddenly reduced to 20, and 20 soon became 2. Fowler and Knight were the only ones left from the original chapter. Again, Fowler and Knight were at a familiar crossroads, and the road ahead seemed longer than ever. But knowing they had each other to lean on, the two went to work. Along with 5 new members, they used the Balanced Man Scholarship to identify the best students at South Carolina. They recruited men based on the Balanced Man program and a fraternity experience built on equal rights and responsibilities, continuous development, accountability, living the ritual, and mentorship. Still, it was not easy. Along the way, former chapter brothers snubbed them, threatened them, and went out of their way to sabotage their efforts. But in the face of adversity, Fowler and Knight remembered their oath of obligation and their commitment to each other. They kept their heads held high and continued building. It's been 2 years since these men embarked on their journey. Today, the South Carolina chapter doesn't look like any other fraternity on the University of South Carolina campus. Student leaders, varsity athletes, Ruck and Trago scholars, and Fortune 500 interns fill the room during Tuesday night chapter meetings. At 60 men strong, and with a 3.6 GPA, these men are more than the best fraternity. They are the premier student organization on their campus. In the last 6 years, the Brothers of South Carolina Alpha have earned a dozen campus and national fraternity awards.
Max Fowler and Zach Knight, this past March, you decided to share with our fraternity and the world your story and the lessons learned on your quest for excellence. You challenged fellow SigEps to act promptly and without hesitation to address issues in their chapters, to expect more from themselves, and to ask for help if they needed it. You even listed your personal email so that other SigEps looking for support could contact you for advice. Originally posted on the SigEp blog, your article, The Truth About Pledging, received over 35,000 views, making it the most widely read story in our website's history. It was also printed in the SigEp Journal. After reading your article, University of South Carolina President Dr. Harris Pastides requested a meeting with your chapter to ask one question: how do we get all fraternities at USC to run the Balanced Man program? Your impact has also extended well beyond Columbia, South Carolina. Following the release of your article, headquarters staff inboxes were flooded with emails from chapter leaders across the country, inspired by you to address shortcomings in their own chapters. Other national fraternities and professional speakers have shared your story in an effort to empower students on campuses nationwide. And donations were made to the Sigma Phi Epsilon Educational Foundation in honor of your courageous journey. But perhaps most notably, your story was the catalyst for a historic piece of legislation passed at this conclave, legislation that will align all SigEp chapters under the Balanced Man program and give every future officer a better chance at providing the best fraternity experience. 2 years ago, the odds were stacked against you. You decided to forego the easy path and instead took on a daunting challenge of building a better experience for your brothers. Today, in front of 1,600 brothers and friends, and on SigEp's biggest stage, we are proud to recognize you with the Clayton-Doud Award for your heroic and determined acts of virtue, diligence, and brotherly love. Your commitment to each other through this process exemplifies the bonds forged by brothers Jim Clayton and Wally Dowd so many years ago. The impact of your work will be felt by brothers nationwide, as well as by future generations of SigEps you might never meet. Would Max Fowler and Zach Knight please come forward to accept this award?